Good morning, everyone. We're going to start our yoga class. Welcome to Gentle Yoga. Today we are on the last yama, so of the yamas and niyamas, and this is the book I've been reading from by Deborah Adele. So the theme for our class today is non-possessiveness, which is called Aparigraha. So go ahead and get yourself comfortable so you can either come to lying on your back, which is my preferred way to start class, or feel free to come to a comfortable seat. We'll just take a moment to settle in before we think about this idea of non-possessiveness. So you can just find yourself here in the present moment, maybe closing down the eyes or softening the gaze. And then you might take a moment to scan the body, starting with the feet. You can move your way up, thinking about checking in with each part, noticing any sensations anywhere. Once you land at the top of your head, just take a moment to observe your thoughts. And then see if you can let your thoughts go. And this is related to the idea of non-possessiveness. And then see if any of these ideas land with you. So in the book by Deborah Adele, she says, Aparigraha, or non-possessiveness, invites us to enjoy life to the fullest. Loving and living fully without becoming attached is not easy. When we experience the completeness of being loved, the satisfaction of a superb meal, the attachment to work well done, we can easily want to hold on to these moments and never let them go. It is easy to want the same satisfaction and begin to demand the same fulfillment from these things again and again. But it is the nature of things to change. And by failing to let them change or move on, they begin to disappoint us. And our attempts to hold on begin to make us stale and discontent. What we try to possess possesses us. So we can think about the breath in this way. What if we could trust life like we trust the breath? What if we could take in all the nourishment of the moment and then let it go fully, trusting that more nourishment will come? So go ahead and take a moment to take a few nice deep breaths. If you're lying on your back, you might rest your hands on your belly, or if you're seated, you could do the same thing. And as you close down the eyes, you can inhale, filling up the belly. Exhaling, practicing that balance of letting go. Maybe you want to use the idea of aparigraha today non-possessiveness as an intention for your practice. And then we'll go ahead and start out today in a seat. So to find a comfortable seat, you might prop yourself up on a bolster or blanket. I actually have a blanket and a bolster stacked on top of each other. So if you're lying down, you might try to come back up to a seat. We'll start out in a cross-legged position. And you can have your blocks close by, maybe one on each side. From here, we're going to do a little bit to work our way down towards our legs, but we'll start up top in our head and neck, and then shoulders, move on to the shoulders. So you can start by bowing your head towards your heart, feeling a little stretch through the back of your neck. And remember, we can always soften away from our edge 10%, so there's no need to move too vigorously or too far. On your next inhale breath, allow your right ear to come towards your right shoulder. You might feel a stretch along the left side of the neck. You could always bring your right fingertips to the left side of your neck. Give yourself a little massage here, just searching for those tender places. And then we'll release the hand back into the lap. Once more, gently bow your head towards your heart, and then we'll swivel the left ear over towards the left shoulder. Maybe this time you want to bring your left fingertips to the right side of your neck. Just give yourself a little rub. I don't know about you, but I definitely have some nice little tender places there. And then go ahead and bow your head towards your heart, and we'll just softly once more move the neck from side to side, or the head rather, from side to side. The next time you bring your head over to the right, let's pause there and then find just a little bit of movement by starting to nod the head yes. And then bring that movement to stillness, and then you can start to gently shake the head no. So we're lifting the chin up towards the sky and then lowering it down towards the shoulder. And then you can soften the head back down towards the heart, and we'll move the head over towards the other side. So head is hanging over to the left. Start by gently nodding the head yes, lifting the chin away from the chest and then bringing it back down. And see if you can find that soothing Ujjayi breathing, listening for the sound of your ocean-like breath. And you can pause that movement and we'll gently begin to shake the head no, lowering the chin towards the shoulder and then lifting it up at a diagonal. And the next time your chin falls towards your shoulder, you can go ahead and pause, and then we'll bring the head back down towards the heart and lift the gaze back to center. Let's move now into the shoulders. So we'll start to draw the shoulders up towards the ears, allow them to round up and back and around, gliding the shoulder blades down the back. See if you can breathe into the shoulders. And then maybe you want to toggle one shoulder at a time. And this could almost look like that beginning of a twist. Bringing one shoulder blade up and over, and then the opposite one. And then we'll pause and reverse the direction of your rolls. So now we're bringing the shoulders up from behind, down, around, in front. Maybe coming back to one at a time. And then go ahead and sync the shoulder movement up together. So you're going to squeeze the shoulder blades at the back, bring the shoulders up towards the ears and round them down in front. And then go ahead and rest that movement. From here, we're going to do some cat and cow stretching. So you can inhale to lift the heart forward, exhale to round the spine back. Inhaling to lift, exhaling to round. And take a moment as you move to maybe visualize the spinal column. Allow yourself an opportunity to marvel at its intricate design. And then maybe we can start to move in any other direction you'd like. You can take some nice big circles with the belly button. And then we'll reverse the direction of those circles. And when you're ready, we'll come back to center. Let's take a moment to bring the palms of the hands together and then interlace the fingers. And you can start to draw some figure eights. So loosening up through the wrists. Go ahead and reverse your figure eights when you're ready. And then we'll come to stillness and then flip the palms, point the palms out in front, round the spine back, and then you can lift the spine tall as you reach the palms up and overhead. We're going to create a nice big bubble around the body, and maybe you want to reach and grab with the hands, rotating the wrists as you bring the hands down. This time, go ahead and interlace the hands the opposite direction. You'll probably know it's the opposite because it'll feel awkward. And let's do our little wrist figure eights here. Maybe you sense and hear some snap, crackle, pops. You might notice it might be fewer of them since we just moved them. And then go ahead and awkwardly move them the opposite direction. We'll flip the palms, press the palms forward as you round the spine back. And then inhale as you lengthen the spine. You can press the palms up, release the fingertips, and once more start to grasp and rotate. And then from here, let's slide the right leg out to the side, any amount. You can bring the left foot to the inner thigh. You might grab blocks here or your strap around your foot. We'll inhale to lift and lengthen the spine and then fold over the right leg. You might be getting a nice side bend here. You can fold over any amount that feels right for you. Maybe take a moment to observe and admire the foot. You might even take a few foot rotations, rotating the ankle. On the next inhale, we'll lift up tall through center. We're going to slide the right arm down the inseam of the right leg. Reach your left hand onto your left hip, almost like you're a teapot tipping over. You could prop your elbow up on a block and maybe you rest your hand on your fist. So I'm just resting my temple on my fist. And if it feels okay for the shoulder, you might lift your arm up and over, finding a nice side bend here. Reaching towards your right foot. If it would feel good, you can, instead of staying still, you might find a little bit of movement, maybe rotating the arm up and over, finding some nice big circles. And the next time your hand finds your hip, let's come upright. And we're going to find a twist here. So this is going to be our seated twist. Inhaling to lengthen the spine. I'm going to bring a block around behind me. And then you can turn your gaze over your left shoulder. You can either press your right hand on your inner thigh, or maybe you can hook it onto that bottom knee, the left knee. With your inhale breath, you can grow taller in your spine. With your exhale, find a deeper twist, maybe just a millimeter more of space. From here, we're going to just turn the gaze. So allow your head to gently fall towards your heart, allowing your chin to trace a semicircle above your chest. And then you can turn just the gaze over towards your right toes. Take one more nice deep breath. And on your exhale, you can release that. Maybe you want to take a moment to shake off the legs. So you could bend them out in front, give them a little windshield wiper, or stretch them out long, shake them out. And then we're going to try all of that on the other side. So extending the left leg long this time. You could bring blocks to frame your foot. You could reach with a strap around the ball of the foot. And then we'll inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale to fold over the left leg any amount that feels right for you. Inhaling to find length in the spine. Exhaling, you might allow your heart to melt towards your leg a little bit further. Breathing into those areas of sensation. Where do you feel the stretch? And is it surprising? For me, I'm feeling it sort of mid-back in a good way, though. Maybe you're feeling it through your hamstring or your hamstrings. I guess there's maybe more than one. When you're ready, we'll inhale to lift up through center. So you're bringing your torso to the center. We're going to be finding our side bend now. So you can glide your left arm down the inseam of your left leg. Bring your right hand to your hip. Maybe you float your arm up and over. You could even prop your elbow up on a block on the high setting. Make a fist to rest your head. You could find stillness here in your side bend, or maybe you want to find a little bit of movement, sweeping the arm up and over, and then stretching for the toes. And the next time your hand comes to your hip, We'll come back up to center, coming back upright. I'm going to inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, find your twist over to the right. So you might use a block to prop your right hand up as you turn your gaze over your shoulder. You can either press on the inner thigh with your left hand for a little bit of leverage, or maybe you reach across to your opposite knee. So finding what feels right for you. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale to twist. We'll stay in the twist and just turn the gaze. So go ahead and soften your gaze towards your heart, towards your chest. Allow your chin to trace a semicircle above your chest, and then you can turn your gaze over towards your left toes. Inhale, your spine lengthens. Exhale, relaxing into your twist. And then we'll go ahead and shake that off. Maybe take a moment to stretch the legs out, give them a little shake. You can also find a little twist, grabbing and pulling side to side. And then from here, we're going to make our way onto our bellies. So if you want to avoid being on the knees, just be careful the way you come down. If you'd like to come into hands and knees first, you can bring the shoulder or the palms of the hands underneath the shoulders and then gently lower yourself down. Go ahead and stretch your legs back. Plant your elbows underneath your shoulders. Plant your palms on the mat and we'll find Sphinx pose here. So a little baby back bend. You might roll your shoulders up towards your ears and then glide them down the back as you lift the heart forward. Take a nice deep breath. And then think about letting it go. As you stack your palms, you can lower your forehead. If it feels too far away to rest your forehead on your palms, you're welcome to stack your fists, maybe one on top of the other, or one fist on top of one, on top of the back of one hand. And we'll take some nice deep breaths, filling the back body with breath. Think about non-possessiveness, enjoying the fullness of your inhale and all the nourishment it brings. And then gathering up anything you no longer need, just like donating to a charity. Can you let go? Exhale out. Release the breath. Feel that sensation of letting go. Take 3 more nice deep breaths like this with intention. And then with your next inhale, let's plant the palms underneath the shoulders. We're going to play around with some baby cobras. So you can use the support of your hands, or you're going to strengthen your back maybe a little bit more by lightening your hands and even maybe floating them off of the earth. So we'll inhale to roll the shoulders up, glide the shoulder blades down the back, lift the heart for a baby cobra. On your next exhale, you can turn your gaze to the right. Bring the left temple down to rest on the ground. Pause for a breath here, and then we'll inhale for baby cobra. Exhale, turn your gaze to the left. Soften your right temple down to the mat. And if you have a block, if the earth feels too far away, you could always bring your head to rest, your temple to rest on a block instead. Inhale, roll the shoulders up and back. Lift the heart, baby cobra. Little bit of effort And then exhale to release, turning the gaze to the right. We'll do one more baby cobra. And then turn your gaze to the left, softening with your exhale. From here, we're going to do a little bit to open through the chest and the shoulders. So just clear any props that you have away so that you have space on either side of you. We'll go ahead and stretch the arms out into a letter T so your right hand is directly perpendicular to you. So it's right out beside you. And then you can bring your left hand underneath your shoulders, start to creep your right fingertips to the right as you roll onto your right side, stretching through the chest. You might not have to go that far to feel the stretch in the pec, so you don't have to land all the way on your side. And then you can either rest your head on the ground, or if you want to bring the ground up to you, this is where a block could help to rest it underneath the temple. This might be enough sensation and enough stretch for you. I know for me it is, but you do have some other options here. You could stretch your top leg back to kind of get a little deeper, so I'm kind of scissoring the leg open, or bend the knee, plant the foot behind you, so that's the top knee. And then this fourth option is kind of a quad stretch. So, well, it is quite a bit of a quad stretch. You could bend the top knee, reach down with your top hand to grab hold of the foot, and then stack the knee over the bottom knee. The top knee stacking over the bottom knee, I should say. But remember, all of those are options, and you could skip any one of them, giving yourself an opportunity just to focus on one area of the body, stretching through the front of the chest, maybe the front of the shoulder. With your next exhale, we'll roll back onto the belly and try the other side. So you're stretching the left arm directly out beside you, creeping the left fingertips out as you plant the right hand underneath the shoulder, rolling onto your side body. And then maybe bringing a block or a pillow underneath the head, resting the temple on the ground. Think about the different options you have here. If you want to stay with your legs stacked, if you want to scissor the legs open so you're kind of opening the top leg behind you, or bending the knee, planting the foot, or maybe reaching down and grabbing hold of the ankle, flexing the toes towards the knee, allowing the knees to stack to find a quad stretch. Give yourself permission to try out any of those options and then veto them, letting go of expectations, judgments. Take one more nice deep breath here, and then when you're ready, we'll roll back onto the belly, plant the palms underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes under, and then you can press up to tabletop and either find a child's pose, bringing the big knees or bringing the big toes to touch, and then opening the knees out wide to the sides. You could rest your left forearm down, stretch your right hand out in front, and then that can create a nice pillow of support for your forehead to rest on your left forearm. If child's pose is not working for you because of being on the knees, feel free to come into a downward dog instead. If you're resting your forearm on one forearm, or your forehead on one of your forearms, go ahead and switch sides. And then when you're ready, we'll all meet up in downward dog. We're going to make our way up to standing. So I like to use blocks for a downward dog on the medium setting. So long as you feel like you can have good support for underneath your hands, you can tuck the toes under, lift the hips and lift the knees. Maybe walk in so you're a little closer, and then you can take a moment to pedal your heels, sashaying your hips a little side to side. I find this pose to be a little gentler the closer my hands are to my legs, almost coming into a forward fold. When you're ready, you can come to a forward fold by walking your hands to your feet or your feet to your hands. We'll press into either the legs at the shins or on the thighs. Press into the blocks if you like. Inhale, lift and lengthen the spine up halfway. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale here for halfway lift. And exhale to forward fold. One more time, inhaling for halfway lift. Exhaling to forward fold. When you're ready, you can spring load the knees and sweep the arms up and around. Rise up tall to stand. Draw your hands to meet at your heart center in a gesture of gratitude. Anjali Mudra. And then go ahead and rest your hands for a moment on your heart space. Feel for the rhythm of your own unique heartbeat. And then with the next 3 heartbeats that you feel, can you find one thing to be grateful for each of the 3 heartbeats? And then we'll go ahead and blink the eyes open. And we're going to play around with another breath practice that I promised last week and then realized at the end that I forgot, which was breath of joy. So I think this can be actually especially nice as we're coming into this fall season, this darker season. So anytime we're kind of feeling low energy, this might be something that we can tuck away in our back pocket, a resource to try out. So for the breath of joy, we're going to have a nice solid stance. We call this mountain pose or Tadasana, and maybe you even have your feet a little bit wider than your hips distance. And then we're going to take 3 sharp inhales and then 1 long exhale. So, and then the arm movement looks like this. Inhale, arms up. Inhale, arms out. Inhale, arms all the way up. And then to exhale, this is why you might like your feet a little wider than hips distance. You can exhale, fold forward, and let it all go. And we start again. Inhale. Exhale. You can even exhale out through the mouth. One more time. And then gently rise back up to standing. We'll find our mountain pose. Bring your hands once more onto your heart center, listening for the rhythm of your heartbeat. Maybe closing down the eyes and finding those same three things that you felt grateful for, or possibly something else. And just maybe take a moment to also notice the rhythm of your heartbeat and your breath. And then you can blink your eyes open. From here, we're going to take some rounds of chair pose. So for chair pose, you could literally sit in a chair if you wanted to. If this felt a little bit challenging, you could find yourself in the chair and then just press energetically. So like this could look like sitting in the chair and then energetically pressing into the chair as if you were going to stand. Or chair pose, it's called Utkatasana. Can't remember exactly what that means. It's like an awkward pose, I think. So we're imagining we're going to sit in the chair. You can bring your hands to your hips, you're bending your knees, and you're imagining a chair behind you. What is required to try to sit back in that chair? And then from here, you could reach your arms out in front. On the next exhale, we'll press into the palms to come up to stand. And then maybe we try bird pose, lifting the heels. On your exhale, we'll come into chair, and this time we're going to include a twist. So you can let your left arm fall to the side and then open it around. And by the way, you can also do this twist standing without the chair option. Inhale the arms back to center. Exhale, float the right arm around and back. Inhale back to center, and if you're in chair, come to stand, and we'll press the palms back as you lift the heels. Exhale, lower the feet, coming into chair. Let's do one more round of this twist on each side. Inhaling to twist, exhaling to come back. Come to stand. Exhale, bring the hands towards the hips. You can press the palms back as you lift the heels. Well, it's kind of nice to do things in threes, so let's actually do one more round. Inhaling to come into chair or stand, your arms out in front. Exhale this time for the twist. Inhale back forward. Exhale for the twist. Inhale forward. Press your palms back. Lift the heels for bird pose. And exhale to lower. Come back to standing once more. Listen for the rhythm of your heartbeat. Close down your eyes or soften your gaze and sink your awareness into whatever intention you set for your practice. When you're ready, we're going to blink the eyes open and we're going to play around with tree pose, our standing balance. So you can go ahead and peel your right heel off of the mat. Let's take a moment to stretch through the ankles so we can pivot on the ball of the toes. And then turn the other way. Now you can keep moving through the foot the same way, or I had mentioned if you had a ball or some kind of tennis ball, or this is a yoga tune-up ball, you could also use the ball to massage the foot. So I'm putting the ball on the ground. Now, of course, you can't see that because I have my blocks in the way. So you might hold on for this to have some help with balance, and then find a nice foot massage by gliding the foot up and down, gliding the ball up and down the length of the foot. stopping anywhere that feels like it needs extra attention. And then we'll set that aside for a moment. We're going to try tree pose on this side before we move to the other side. So you can open the knee out to the right. You might have something like a wall space or a chair to hold on to. And you can allow your heel to rest on your ankle, or really rooting down through your left side, you can glide the foot to rest on the ankle, or the calf, I should say, or hop it over the knee to rest on the upper thigh is a third option. I kind of like it with the toes on the ground because it can give some extra support. And then we think about finding a dristi, a focus point. So the dristi is a fixed place either on the ground or at the horizon where you can focus your attention. And then maybe you invite one or both hands to meet at your heart center. And then you can grow your hands up towards the sky. Take one more nice deep breath in your tree pose. And then we'll step the feet out. Give yourself a nice wide stance and allow your arms to gently graze your sides as you turn side to side, shaking it off, letting go. And when you're ready, we'll come back to standing in mountain pose, Tadasana. And we're going to get ready for the other side. So if you want to hang on to support, you can lift your left foot this time. Start to rotate the ankle, pivoting on the ball of the foot and turning it the opposite way. I forgot another movement that I really like is actually tucking the toes under, stretching the top of the foot. So we didn't do that on the right side. Maybe we'll give that a chance. So if you tuck the toes under, why don't we try that on the right? Stretching through the top of the foot, the ankle. And then if you have a ball, you can bring the ball underneath the left foot and give your foot a little massage. Just gliding the ball along the bottom of the foot. If you find any places that need extra attention, you can always pause there, giving a little press. And then when you feel ready, we're going to release the ball. Make sure it's out of your way because I almost stepped on mine. So I'm kicking it out of the way. And then we're going to find tree pose on the left side. So rooting down through the right foot, you can peel the left heel off of the mat, open the left knee out to the side, and then rest your ankle, your heel against your ankle with your toes down. Or if you want to challenge your balance a little more, you can glide your foot to rest on your calf, or maybe hop it over the knee to rest on the upper thigh. See if you can find a dristi, and then you can either invite one hand or both hands to meet at your heart center, finding that focal point. And feel free to grow your tree limbs tall, reaching your arms up towards the sky. And whenever you're ready, you can step that out and shake it all off. Letting your arms graze your sides, finding a little twist. And then when you're ready, we're going to be making our way back down to the ground for our supported figure 4. And we'll do a little bit more work on the ground as well. You can always have a chair. I was going to mention about the downward dog using the chair, actually. So for our downward dog with the chair, just making sure that the chair is not going to slip and slide anywhere. Just like having hands on blocks, you can walk yourself back with your hands on the chair. We call this a chair dog. Downward dog on the chair. And then eventually, since we're going to use a wall space, when you do come down, make sure that you have either a wall space to support you close by or a piece of furniture. Since I don't have a wall space, I'll use this piece of furniture. We're not going to do that just yet. I just want to make sure that you're in the vicinity since you're going to be coming down onto the ground. We're going to play around with a little bit of bridging. So I'm going to have a block close by for a supported bridge. So once you come onto your back, you can walk your feet in and then cozy your elbows right in towards your rib cage. Point your fingertips up towards the sky. And when you walk your heels in, you're in a bridge prep. And then we can tilt the pelvis forward and back and just rock the pelvis. So you're creating a little space underneath your low back. And then on your exhale breath, you can press your low back towards the mat. Inhale to lift, tilting the pelvis forward. Exhaling to lower. I heard this recently described in a class I took as, imagine you have a little mouse house underneath your low back, and then you're going to smash the mouse's house. So anyway, thinking about that visual of closing the distance. Now you could keep rocking the pelvis, drawing the belly button towards the spine, or the next time you smash the mouse house, start to press into the heels, lift the hip points up towards the sky. On your exhale breath, you can go ahead and roll the vertebrae back down one at a time. Now inhale to tilt the pelvis forward. Exhale to press and lift. You might inhale at the top and exhale to lower the spine back down. Go ahead and follow the pace of your own breath through your bridge. The next time we lift up into bridge, go ahead and roll the left side down and then land on your back. And we'll inhale to press up into bridge. And this time, roll the right side down. Just finding something different. Maybe we try that one more time on each side. Rolling the left side down first before you land on the back. Lifting up and rolling the right side down. Now, I want to give you the option to either hold the bridge or to take a supported bridge. So if you're holding the bridge, you're going to press up. You might release your hands and tuck them underneath you to grasp hands behind your low back, or you can take the block and slide it underneath the sacrum the low back, so you have a nice shelf of support, and you can come into a supported bridge. One is going to be a little bit more active. The other one's going to be a little bit more passive. So take some nice deep breaths in whichever version. You can always change your mind. If you're resting on the block, you could press into your heels, strengthen through your glutes and thighs, and lift up, and then rest on the block for support. Take one more nice deep breath. If you're resting on the block, you can press into your heels, lift up to release the block, and then we're going to roll the spine back down one vertebrae at a time. Go ahead and walk your feet as wide as the mat, and then allow the knees to gently sway from side to side. It's a little windshield wiper movement. And you don't have to go very far. You can just find a smallish windshield wiper. Noticing what feels good to you. And then we're going to do a little bit of strengthening through the glutes before we do our figure four. So go ahead and roll all the way onto your left side. You could bring a block underneath the temple or prop your head up on your hand. We're going to glue the heels together and then start to lift and lower the top knee. See if you can send your breath and your gratitude to circle your hip joint. And you can include as many or as few of these clamshells as you like. Just thinking about strengthening the glutes and sending them gratitude. When you're ready, you can pause that action, and then we're going to slide the knees back so they're in a straight line with the body. Go ahead and lift and lower the top knee, and you might feel a nice stretch through the side of the hip, through the glute. And this is where some people like to include this idea of a twist here. So you could start to sink your shoulder back behind you. It's not going to hit the ground. It's just a little bit of a twist in the spine. And then if you'd like to try a quad stretch here, you could reach down with your top hand and grab hold of the bottom foot, or this cat chasing its tail twist, and a stretch for the quad. Remembering you can always leave any of these things out, especially if you feel a cramp. Just go ahead and skip it. Nothing is required. When you're ready to release that side, we'll roll onto the back and just take a moment to realign your spine and pause. You might try a few windshield wipers with the knees from side to side. And then we'll get ready for the other side. So rolling onto your right side, you can give yourself a little pillow of support with your hand or the blocks. A block underneath your temple might feel good. We'll stack the knees, glue the heels together, and start to lift and lower the top knee. Breathing into the hip joint, some gratitude, some compassion and curiosity. Maybe you notice subtle differences from left to right. And as soon as you feel fatigue and you're ready for a rest, you can close that down, create a straight line for the knees, lift and lower the top knee, and find that stretch for the outside of the hip, the glute, maybe the IT band. You can start to turn this into a twist by leaning the top shoulder back, and maybe you find a bind, reaching down with your top hand to grab hold of your bottom foot. Only if that feels accessible and good. Remembering we have lots of options. We don't need to go to our absolute edge. Take one more nice deep breath here. And if you're in the bind, you can release the foot. And then we're going to roll onto our backs and find a wall space or a piece of furniture that you can bring your feet up onto. And this is going to be for a figure 4 to stretch through the glutes. So you can start by extending your legs long, rotating your ankles. I'm preferring the bed as the support this time around because I don't have a wall space close by. But because it's also, unlike the folding chair, it's not going to move when I press my feet up onto it. So now we're going to bend the right knee, cross the right ankle over the left thigh, and then draw the shape into the body by bending the left knee. You can find a little stretch, or maybe quite a big stretch, through the right hip. You can also do this by hugging the shape into the body, but that creates a lot more effort for the upper body. You might find more of a stretch by flexing your right toes towards the right knee. And then see if you can allow yourself to soften and settle. Practicing non-possessiveness by enjoying the nourishment of the inhale and allowing anything you need to let go of to release with your exhale. When you're ready to let go of the side, you can extend your legs long. Once more, you might rotate your ankles. And then we'll bring the left ankle onto the right thigh, bend the right knee to draw the shape into the body for figure 4. Taking some nice deep breaths here. Maybe flexing the left toes towards the left knee to deepen the stretch. Let's take one more nice deep breath on this side. When you're ready, you can stretch your legs long. If you're resting at a wall space, you can roll onto one side, or even if you're resting at a chair or couch, press your sit bones right up against the piece of furniture. So you're kind of wiggling closer and stretching your legs out. And we're going to do, and then you can turn yourself up so that your whole entire back of your legs, now you don't have any space between you and the wall or you and the couch. And we'll rest in this gentle inversion for a little while before coming into our final resting pose. So if there are any last shapes that you want to make before your final rest, you can include them now, or you can rest with your legs up the wall or up on a piece of furniture. You might take your hands to rest at your belly with your elbows at your sides. Could also put a pillow underneath your sacrum by pressing in, lifting and sliding a pillow underneath you. And maybe you rest your hands on your belly to feel the rise and fall of your breath. With each inhale and exhale, practicing letting go or non-possessiveness. See if you can soften through your forehead, your jaw, your shoulders. In our fast-paced culture, we're so busy rushing to get to the next thing. Our minds might start to wander towards plans for the future, or it's normal to contemplate events of the past. Each time you take a moment to notice what's happening with your mind, you can think about how yoga is a practice of training our minds, observing our thoughts, allowing ourselves to respond with grace and compassion, letting go of attachments to our thoughts. Feel free to stay in this gentle inversion with your legs up the wall or legs up the furniture, or you can make your way to coming to your back, setting up for your final resting pose, either by coming into a constructive rest pose. That could be a little gentler for your low back if you wanted to walk your feet as wide as your mat and allow your knees to tent in towards each other. Or you're welcome to lie flat on your back, maybe supporting underneath the knees with a pillow or blanket. Allow yourself to get cozy for your final rest, Shavasana or corpse pose. I'm going to allow you some moments of quiet while you soften through the forehead, the cheeks, the jaw, and the shoulders. And then I'll reawaken you in a moment, a little while, with another reading about Aparigraha, non-possessiveness. The guideline of Aparigraha, non-possessiveness, invites us to let go and pack lightly for our journey through life, all the while caring deeply and enjoying fully. Non-attachment doesn't mean we don't care or that somehow we shut ourselves off from pleasure and joy of life and each other. In fact, non-attachment frees us up to be immersed in appreciation of life and one another. We are asked to let go of the clinging to the thing, not the enjoyment of the thing itself. Letting go of ownership opens us up to full engagement with what is set out before us in the present moment. Life becomes a banquet and we are free to feast. Like the breath, we are invited to breathe in deeply, enjoying the fullness of the inhalation, and then let go just as deeply and fully, enjoying the release of the exhale. The fewer attachments we carry with us, the more we are free to enjoy and engage and live each moment before us to the fullest. The more breath we let go of, the more room there is in the body for the fullness of the next inhalation. The more generously we share and give away, the more expansive and light we become. The journey of life is towards freedom. A bird cannot hold its perch and fly. Neither can we grasp anything and be free. Practicing constant generosity and unfailing trust will keep our greed in check and keep us open to life's unfolding. What wants to come to us is so great, and what we hold on to is often so small. Just like a trapeze artist, are we willing to be suspended in midair in total trust of the timing and of a future that is greater than the one we are holding on to? You can start to deepen your breath now, allowing some movement to return to your fingers and your toes. Gently beginning to rotate your wrists and your ankles. And then take a nice long body stretch. And then roll onto one side, cradling yourself there in a fetal position. before pressing yourself up into a seat. You can invite your hands to meet at your heart center when you arrive in your seated position. Allow your head to bow towards the wisdom of your loving heart. It's such an honor and a privilege to have this time to guide you through your practice. So I want to thank you for being here with me. And please feel free to stick around if you have thoughts or questions about class.